What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Jacob Daniel back at it again here at the Speed Kills podcast. Now today, we are recapping my fantasy team up to this point in the season. All right, let's get into it. First of all, my league is a Superflex PPR league. Our scoring is a lot higher than most league scorings. It's a Yahoo league. We usually range from 200 points in a weekend to 250 points. We've had people break 300 before. A bad week's around 150 points. But that's basically my league. All right, let's get into week one. So week one, I faced Caucasian Invasion and beat him 227 points to 158 points. On Caucasian Invasion, he had Odell Beckham Jr. and Jay Ajayi. Odell Beckham Jr. was out at this point in the season, and then Jay Ajayi, obviously, week one, had the hurricane that went through Miami, so he wasn't able to start either of those players. So most of his players in week one were bench players that he drafted. But Tyrod Taylor had a stellar week one with 33 points. Antonio Brown had a really good phenomenal week one with 48 points. Michael Thomas, very disappointing with 14. Isaiah Crowell, I didn't know that he was just going to be an awful pick, but he had 19 points. Ty Montgomery started off the season strong with 28 points. Gronk, only 8, was kind of disappointing week one. Michael Crabtree, 22. Joe Flacco, 14. That was pretty awful. Hauschka, my kicker, he's a kicker, oh well. My defense did well with 25 points, and my defensive player with 10 points. Overall, did well. My bench at this point, it was all right. Nothing really to see. Devontae Parker, he was out because they were on bye, or their so-called bye with the hurricane, so I couldn't really see what he did. But at this point, my bench wasn't really good at all, and I just started the players that I drafted high. All right, week two. This one hurt a lot. I lost by not even a point. I lost by 0.33 points. I lost to Team Spider-Man, my good friend Jack, 255.73 points to my 254.4 points. This was awful. I hated this game so much because I thought I was going to win. And I think it came down to either a Sunday or Monday night game on whether someone would score 15 to 13 points. And it just didn't work out for me. Tyrod Taylor, 19 points. Antonio Brown did not perform this week with 17 points against Minnesota. Xavier Rhodes was over him. He could not get the ball at all. I think he had 4 receptions. He didn't have a good week. Michael Thomas, 22 points, had a decent week. And the crazy thing about this matchup is I had 3 people almost get 40 points, and I still lost. Ty Montgomery with 40 points, Rob Gronkowski with 38, Michael Crabtree with 40 points. This was one of the weeks where he scored 2 touchdowns, I'm pretty sure. Isaiah Crowell, abysmal week with 7 points. Joe Flacco with 24, that's average. Stephen Hauschka, 4 points, he's a kicker, oh well. Carolina defense, I streamed them. They ended up getting 30 points, which is pretty good. Bobby Wagner with 11 points. But yeah, he ended up beating me. Carson Wentz, he had 44 points. Carson Wentz is having a phenomenal season this year. Le'Veon Bell wasn't really turned on at this point with 22 points. Alshon Jeffrey had a great week this week. So did Carson Palmer, both having 31 points. If I would have started maybe someone else, I could have won this matchup, but it was awful seeing me lose this matchup, especially getting to the 250 mark, because that's a pretty good week in our league, but I still ended up losing. I would have beat anyone else this week, but I lost. All right, week 3, I won against First Down Syndrome, 198 points to 193 points. This week is one of my favorite weeks personally because I had 2 players on my fantasy team get negative points, and I still pulled out the win. I streamed Deshaun Kaiser this week. He had 35.9 points, which is a really good week, even though he's not that great of a quarterback. Antonio Brown had a good week this week, 39 points. Michael Thomas, 30 points. Ty Montgomery, 18 points. Isaiah Crowell, I don't know why I continued to start him, but he had 12 points. Rob Gronkowski with 3.8 points. Michael Crabtree with 2 points. I'm pretty sure this is the week that Michael Crabtree might have gotten hurt, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Stephen Hauschka with 19 points as a kicker. He has been balling out ever since this point in the season, but here are my 2 negative players. This was the Baltimore game where they were over in London, and they just had an awful game. Lost 44-7 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Joe Flacco with negative 1.13 points, and the Baltimore defense with negative 2 points, and Bobby Wagner with 12 points. I managed to pull out the win against First Down Syndrome, even though he had Russell Wilson have 55 points and Eli Manning having 42 points, but those were his only really two good contributors that week. Most of his players getting around low teen numbers or even single digits, but take that First Down Syndrome, two negative players getting points, and I still got the win. All right, let's go to week 4. Week 4, I got the win against Beaver Squad, 197.5 points to 144.3 points. This week, Tyrod Taylor did all right with 21 points. Antonio Brown didn't do anything this week with 10 points. Michael Thomas, 31 points. Ty Montgomery, 5.6 points. This was the week that Ty Montgomery got hurt, broke one of his ribs, and had to go out of the game after like the first or second quarter, so that's why he didn't have any points. I decided to start Joe Mixon after this week is because the week before he played against Green Bay and played phenomenal, scored 23 points. So I thought his carry count and his touches would go up, and they have, but he hasn't really produced that much because they won't give him the ball as much. Gronk with 21 points. I had to start Devontae Parker because Michael Crabtree was out. Deshaun Kaiser with 7 points. Steven Hauschka, 15 points again. Amazing kicker. Jacksonville defense with 35 points, and Bobby Wagner, my defensive player, with 15 points. On my bench, I had Amir Abdullah go for 30 points and Bilal Powell go for 52 points. How was I supposed to know Bilal Powell was going to get 52 points or Amir Abdullah getting 30 points? Because they both didn't produce up to this point. Beaver Squad, Dak Prescott getting 37 points, but no one else really producing for him. Jordan Howard got 20. That's about it, but that week I was able to get the dub against Beaver Squad. All right, let's get on to week 5. Week 5 was a tough week for me. I took the L again against Sublime Team, 200.63 points to my 178.6 points. Tyrod Taylor, 15 points, didn't really have a good week. Antonio Brown balled out with 43 points. I had to start Devontae Parker because I'm pretty sure there was players on bye. He had 2.2 points. This was the week where he got hurt in the first quarter with like one target, so that's why he didn't do good. Joe Mixon, average week of 17 points. Bilal Powell, I decided to start him after that 52-point week. I was chasing those points, and he ended up getting just 10 points. I thought it would be a good start because Matt Forte was out, but it turned out it wasn't going to be a good week. The Patriots played on Thursday night, and they decided to bench because Gronk was hurt. They decided not to play him, not to risk it. So I traded Joe Flacco for Evan Ingram this week, and Evan Ingram got me 0 points. He was producing in weeks before, but he had 4 targets for no receptions at all. This would have helped me if I got points in the tight end position, but I didn't. I decided to start Amir Abdullah after that 30-point week, and he got 7 points. I picked up John Brown off the waiver wire. Didn't work out for me. Steven Hauschka with 10 points again. That's a really good week for a kicker. My Jacksonville defense getting 52 points. They've been balling out. And Bobby Wagner with 9 points. Michael Crabtree came back from that injury this week, and it was against Baltimore, which wasn't a favorable matchup, but he ended up producing with 30 points on my bench. So if I would have started him, I think I probably would have won. But Sublime Team with Leonard Fournette getting 52 points carried him this week. Also, Cameron Brate, good stream that week. Phillip Rivers getting 33 points. He was able to pull out the win against this one. I think this is more on me than Sublime Team because if I would have started Michael Crabtree, but it is what it is. So I took the L that week. All right, week 6. I got the dub against the Offspring, a.k.a. Richard, who is not a very good player in our league. I got the dub, 236.9 points to 180 points. This was the week that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and the Offspring has Aaron Rodgers on his team, so he only got 1.8 points. I decided to stream Jacoby Brissett off the waiver wire since Tyrod Taylor was on bye, so he got 23 points, decent week, good stream. Antonio Brown balled out this week, had 47 points. Michael Thomas did not perform once again with only 6.2 points. Amir Abdullah with 10. I decided to pick up Alvin Kamara, the Saints running back. He got 20. He had a really good week that week. That was a crazy game, 52-38 against Detroit. Gronk had a really good week, 34 points. Michael Crabtree, 22 points. And in my super flex spot, I decided to start a position player, and I just started Evan Ingram, my second tight end. He ended up performing that week and getting 27 points. I had a stream a kicker. He got 8 points. The Jacksonville defense, 22 points, and then my defensive player with 15. So that was a pretty good week for me. On my bench that week, most of my players were on bye, and so I rolled out pretty well this week. Todd Gurley underperformed this week for him with only 26 points. Demaryius Thomas balled out with 36, but and Matt Stafford with 34. Other than that, he had a pretty bad week, especially with Aaron Rodgers getting hurt. But I beat the offspring, and he's one of the higher-ranked players in our league, but I still think he's buns. Richard, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. You're just an awful fantasy player, always sending bad trades. All right, week 7, I got the win against the Juice. 249 points versus 207 points. My team did really well this week. Tyrod Taylor with 35 points, Antonio Brown with an average week of 23, Michael Thomas with an average week of 24 points, Alvin Kamara with a pretty good week of 26 points considering he's a pass-catching running back, Joe Mixon with 15 points, Rob Gronkowski with 13, Michael Crabtree with 13, Evan Ingram with 24, so he did pretty well that week. I was carried by the Jacksonville defense, which got me 48 points, and Stephen Hauschka, my kicker, getting 14, and also my defense player getting 12 points. My bench wasn't really noteworthy that week, but he didn't really, the Juice didn't really have a good week that week, having Doug Baldwin, Carlos Hyde, and LaShawn McCoy having pretty good weeks. Cam Newton really didn't perform, but I got the win. He had a decent week, but because he got over 200, but I hit the 250 mark, which is a really good week for me. Yep, I got the win against the Juice. All right, week 8 this past week, I took my third loss, losing to Zeke and Destroy, 275 points to 205 points. He had a really good week, almost breaking the 300 mark, having Drew Brees doing really good. Adam Thielen scored 30 points. Jameson Crowder coming out of nowhere and scoring 37 points. Melvin Gordon having 37 points. And Ezekiel Elliott, that was supposed to be suspended, got 42 points, but repealed his suspension. Yeah, but my team didn't do good. Tyrod Taylor with an average 23 points, Antonio Brown with 20 points, Michael Thomas with 22, Alvin Kamara with 24, Joe Mixon with 23, Rob Gronkowski with 22, Michael Crabtree with 23, Amir Abdullah, I don't know why I started him with 10, Stephen Hauschka with 14, and my defense let me down right here. Jacksonville was on bye, so I had to pick up another defense. Miami got 9 points, Bobby Wagner with 12 points. Marlon Mack did decent on my bench with 21 points, and Isaiah Crowell came out of nowhere and got 31 points. So if I would have started Isaiah Crowell or Marlon Mack, I probably would have, or I would have gotten closer, but I don't think I would have won. But he had a really good week that week. So, all right, it turns out right now I am 4th in my league with the record of 5-3. We have 3 people that are tied for first place and 4 people that are tied for second place. But the way our league works is the more points forced you have, the higher you are in the ranking. So I'm currently 4th. I am not that high in points forced. That is, I would be higher. And if I would have won that week where I lost by like 1.7 points or less than a point, I would be first, but we'll see how it plays out. This is a really tight league. We have a lot of good players and a lot of good people. But yes, this is my fantasy season so far. I have a lot of moves on the waiver wire because I always work in the waiver wire. I think I have like 19 moves on the season. I'm always dropping and picking someone up. Yeah, but that's my fantasy football season so far. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.